Today, I really want to talk about anxiety, shocker, and I really want to give you guys a reframe. So let me start with something that might sound a little surprising, and that is anxiety is actually not your biggest problem. And I know that might feel really hard to believe, especially if anxiety has been running your life like it was for me, stealing your sleep, making everything feel so much harder than it needs to be. But today, I want to offer you a different way of seeing anxiety, understanding anxiety, not as something to get rid of, but as something that's actually trying to protect you. I call it your most loyal companion, your ride or die companion. Most people experience anxiety as intrusive. It shows up uninvited. It hijacks the body. It makes small things feel so huge. So naturally, people want it gone, and they'll say things like, I just want it to stop. I want my old self back. I want peace. And when anxiety doesn't respond to logic, reassurance, or positive thinking, then people assume that anxiety is the enemy. I'm going to teach you how to actually befriend your anxiety. And here's the thing. After struggling with anxiety for 3 decades, if somebody had told me that they wanted me to befriend my anxiety, I would legitimately punch them in the throat. There was no part of me that wanted to be friends with anxiety. Nothing would have made me happier than to wrap anxiety in a really heavy chain and drop it to the bottom of the ocean. So I want you to know that, because I want you to understand that coming from my own lived experience with anxiety, the idea of me asking you to befriend it is going to feel like a huge ask. But I'm going to ask you to just stick with me. Because for a long time, that's how I saw anxiety, as something to fight, something to control, something to try to outthink. And the harder I fought it, the louder it got. Because what I didn't understand yet was that anxiety was not showing up without an invitation. It wasn't showing up randomly. It was showing up for a reason. Here's the reframe that really changed things for me. Because here's the thing. When I had my first nervous breakdown in my 30s, I really was so stuck. I'd been in therapy for half my life at that point, and I had never been medicated. And this was 2001. So really, at that point, if you heard about people taking medication, it was a very stigmatized thing. People were quote unquote off their rockers, like the worst of the worst. But I honestly did not have the bandwidth in my body anymore for the level of activation that we call anxiety in my system. And I remember saying to my dad, I would do anything to not feel this way. And I think that really scared the shit out of him. And he was like, I think you need to get in with a psychiatrist. I think you need some medication. I grew up in a household where my grandmother was clinically, I'm putting in quotes, clinically depressed my entire life. She'd been on every medication you could think of that had been available to her up to this point. So when I went to a psychiatrist and he diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder, it made sense, but it also took my agency away. I saw anxiety as a disordered part of me, as a weakness, as a character flaw, as a defect, as a lot in life, as a ball and chain, and it took my agency away. The reframe is that anxiety is not a character flaw. It is not a weakness. It is not a malfunction. What I can tell you is that anxiety is actually a protective response. It's your nervous system saying, I don't like this thing. It feels familiar, and that thing did not feel safe to me. Or I don't want to be caught off guard this time. Or I'm trying to keep safe. And that's even when the threat isn't real, right? Or it's not even present, but your body response can still be that way. And I have people that come into my office all the time for one-to-one consults, or I'll hear this in my students in my course, and they'll say, I'm having an anxiety attack. And I say, how do you know? And they look at me like so pissed. They're like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm here to talk to you about this, and you're actually questioning it. And I say to them, I'm not questioning you. I want you to get curious. I want you to question you. And here's the question I want you to ask yourself. How do I know that I'm having anxiety right now? And they usually look at me like I have 3 heads. And then I reframe it this way. I say, listen, let's just say you were in a foreign country where English was not the language spoken, and you were having a panic attack or you were having anxiety and you needed support and help. And you went up to somebody and said, I'm having anxiety. And they say, I'm so sorry, I don't understand what anxiety means. What would you tell them? And people usually say, well, I feel it in my stomach. I feel like my stomach's really off. I can't eat, or I am eating, but I'm having diarrhea, or I'm vomiting. My stomach hurts. My chest is so tight. My throat is tight. My heart is racing. My blood pressure is up. I can't get a full breath in. My mind is racing. What they're doing is they're really describing a response to something. Anxiety doesn't mean danger, because often when those things are happening, many times there's not imminent danger. In this case, anxiety is a memory. So for many people, anxiety looks like overthinking conversations, anticipating worst case scenarios, feeling responsible for other people's feelings, struggling to relax unless everything is okay and handled and in control, feeling safest when you're prepared, busy, or in control. And those are not random traits, guys. Those are brilliant, devised coping strategies. Your nervous system learned, if I stay alert, I won't be surprised. If I stay prepared, I'll be okay. And what you describe physiologically in your body is your body's doing that. That is what it feels like. That is the readiness that I've talked about in some of these past episodes. That strategy once worked when you needed it at a time. And then it just became chronic. And this is why trying to eliminate anxiety often feels awful, because when you fight anxiety, your nervous system interprets it as there's danger, so it doubles down. Anxiety doesn't respond well to force and elimination. It responds very, very well to understanding, listening, and safety. We feel as though the goal is to silence it. We say things like, I just want to shut this thing up. But the goal really shouldn't be to silence it. It is to understand what it's trying to tell you. It's a messenger. There's a mess in the message, but it is a messenger. And it is trying to tell you that it doesn't feel like you're safe. Now, you likely are safe, but the memory in the body does not believe it yet. Here's an important shift. If your anxiety isn't something to conquer, but rather something to listen to, we could talk to it differently. So what if instead of asking, how do I stop this? You start asking, what is this trying to tell me? That is the question that I asked myself after a 30-year journey with anxiety, sitting on my bed with my arms raised to the ceiling in total surrender. And that question alone can change your relationship. This is a really, really central concept in the Calm Code. We don't treat anxiety as the enemy. We treat it as a signal, as a messenger, as a protector that learned its job very, very early on for you. When anxiety is misunderstood, people live in constant opposition to themselves. They shame their reactions. They suppress their feelings. They push through when their body is actually asking for help and support. That internal battle is exhausting, and it keeps anxiety in the driver's seat. Not because anxiety is powerful, but because it's never been met with understanding. This reframe that anxiety is a protector, not a problem, is woven all throughout the Calm Code. In my book, I help you understand where it actually came from. And in my live 8-week course, it's where you learn how to work with anxiety instead of against it, with guidance and support. Because when anxiety feels understood, it doesn't need to shout loudly. That has definitely been my experience. If anxiety has been loud in your life, please hear this. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're disordered. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you're defective. It's because your nervous system learned that staying alert was once necessary. Anxiety is not your enemy. It is your fiercest, most loyal protector that has not been updated yet, that you are not in danger anymore. I'm Stacey Uhrig, and you know this. I'm a certified 9 clinical trauma care practitioner and the creator of the Calm Code. And this work begins when we stop trying to eliminate parts of ourselves and we start to listen to what they've been carrying. You know, I say it all the time. I'll say it again. We can't heal what we don't understand. And in order to heal your relationship with anxiety, hear how I said that, not anxiety, your relationship with anxiety, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to really dissect it and really look at, what is this word? What does it mean? What does it incorporate? How does that fit into my lived experience? How have I dealt with it in the past? How can I have a different relationship with it going forward? And that is the premise of the Calm Code. I really, really hope that this episode was insightful. I hope it gave you a little bit more to work with. Again, from my own journey, I just hate the idea that people struggle. Drowning in anxiety is the only way I can describe what my experience with anxiety was. And it wasn't until I surrendered and started listening that everything shifted for me. That happened way back in 2014. So we're looking at almost 12 years here, guys. So if I, after 30 years of debilitating anxiety and a poor relationship with that part of myself, can sit here in front of you today and tell you that my relationship with anxiety is strong, powerful, and it only comes up when absolutely warranted, then I'm telling you, I can help you find that in yourself as well. So I really hope that you love this. If you ever want to reach out to me directly, you can do so just on my website. Just go to flipyourmindset.com. Go right to contact us, drop me a note, and while you're there at the website, feel free to take our free assessment. It's called the HURT Assessment, HURRT. It stands for Healing Unresolved Roots of Trauma, and it's there that you can start to see how your lived experiences may have impacted you in a way that you just didn't fully appreciate before. Guys, thanks so much for your time. I really loved sharing this insight with you today, and I will see you on the flip side.